AI art is something that is interesting to me because when it was first becoming a thing, I remember being somewhat opposed to it, like many people are, and feeling like it was taking something away from, quote, actual artists, and that it was going to be a way to like take control away from people when it came to what they create. However, in my experience and what I've seen so far, it's almost been the exact opposite. Unfortunately, in today's world, what we get to enjoy, things that are aesthetically pleasing, whether it's in art like video games and movies and comic books, and then, just pictures and, things to look at in general. And then also when you're creating content, when you're making assets for a video, when you need graphics for a YouTube channel or a Twitch channel or whatever, you were always like at the whims of either knowing some person that could do some work for you, and it was never quite exactly what you really wanted, but it was like, well, someone else is making it, so it's close enough. Or these are some of, to me, the most obnoxious nuisances on the internet is the dreaded commission artist. Some of them can make some really great looking stuff. I'm not saying that they're not great artists in the field of like doing commission graphics and such. However, I would much rather create some basic assets, which I have done when I first started my channel, and doing content creation and social media and stuff. I did everything, and I did it all through my phone, and I had to use multiple apps, and I had to learn how to do various things, and eventually put together various graphics and logos and create intros and transitions, all these different things. It was fun. There was a lot to figure out, and there was some of it I had to do a lot of manipulation of these assets from one app to another, and then doing some things by hand. But then I had those base assets that I can now plug into AI, and I'm talking just like browser AI generators for like logos and various other graphics, and make something that's like really cool with my original graphic, with my original kind of framework, and then work around that. And to say there is not a great deal of creativity and work that goes into creating the correct prompts to get what you want, and cycling through and trying to manipulate the AI essentially to do what you want and get what you, and then not only that, but sometimes give you things that you didn't expect, that you didn't know you wanted, but it extrapolated from the various things that the pieces of information you gave it. I think it's fantastic, and I really like it. And not only that, but like I said, it frees us from the shackles of the internet commission artist, who 99% of them are making the same exact doofy looking 2016 Xbox gamer pick bubble shiny logos essentially. And I just don't find that very appealing. I find it extremely generic. And then even outside of that, when you're talking about just art in general, there is a plethora, and I'm talking a plethora of insanely good AI art across like Twitter and Instagram. Some of it's animated, but a lot of it is static images, and they are amazing, especially if you like things that are aesthetically pleasing. I personally love seeing like some really incredible vampire chicks be made with this stuff. Or there's like different themed days, like Wednesday Addams Wednesday, where they do various different forms of Wednesday Addams, or like Nuns Day. And I mean, like, to be able to just scroll through and see these incredible pieces of work that are very aesthetically pleasing, very attractive characters and textures and styles and settings that are just, you don't get from traditional artists or non-traditional, when we're talking these commission artists. Half these commission artists, they want to charge people for like some kind of goofy looking furry that looks like a 6-year-old drew it. So I have come to, over the years, through my experience, my use, and growing to use the AI for my channel and content, I really like AI art, and I think it's something that's going to be really incredible to watch. However, it in no way takes the person out. It just enables more people to have access to creating really cool things. So it seems these production companies and studios will consistently do everything possible to not get something right. In this case, I'm talking about the Tomb Raider films, not the games. I think that the recent reboot trilogy was actually pretty darn good. There were aspects that I didn't like, but that's the case with all video games and pieces of entertainment in general. So the last time we had a good Tomb Raider film was, of course, the first two films that were made with Angelina Jolie. She perfectly encapsulated the character at that time. Physically, character-wise, personality-wise, everything about her was Lara Croft in those films. The movies were actually executed very well. They're fun action-adventure romps in that kind of fantastical world, chasing mythological relics and just crazy deities that come from nowhere to get in the way. So those two films are great. Then there was just nothing for the longest time until 2018, when we got a Tomb Raider film reboot that was kind of supposed to go along the same lines as the Tomb Raider reboot games, which at the time were doing fairly well and were a good vision for the series. Part of the problem is the casting. When you have something that is so visually iconic, and with Lara Croft, she even had voiceovers and there was actual storylines, not just her chest. So you have to find somebody that matches that. The look, the feel, the way they carry out that persona, it's got to be there. That's acting. It's like same thing with James Bond. That's why there's always these extended searches to find the right guy and make it work. So Lara Croft is kind of that same way for me, and I think in general. Unfortunately, in the 2018 film, they cast Alicia Vikander, who is actually a great actress. She's been in some really great movies and does a good job. For me, the movie that I really liked her in was Ex Machina. Check out the trailer for that if you haven't seen it, but basically she plays an android that kind of, we'll just say she starts to pass the Turing test. Things go a little bit nutso though. Anyways, great actress. So number one, she's Swedish, which Lara Croft is British. Whatever, actors can play different roles of languages and origins. But the other problem is she doesn't look anything like Lara Croft. She's and I like skinny girls, but she's far too frail. And they didn't even really, I know they do these workouts and they get them in shape and stuff, but her frame, her body is just not there to be believable as Lara Croft. And Lara Croft is actually somebody who's thin and fit, but Alicia Vikander is way too small for that in multiple ways. And she just does not she doesn't have the presence to be Lara Croft. Unfortunately, all these girls that are playing her, or that could end up playing her, they're going to be based off compared to Angelina Jolie, and that's completely fair, because the first time they did it, they got it right. So you kind of need to match up to that in some way. The crazy thing is, with the Tomb Raider reboot games, we had Camilla Luddington, who was the voice actress and the motion capture for Lara Croft in those games, and she did a fantastic job. She sounded like her. Physically, she was great for her. And she's also an actress. I'm not saying she's been in some big action, films or anything, but she's been in multiple movies, and she has been in Grey's Anatomy for 10 years or some crap, or it feels like forever. She's been a recurring character, and then she became a regular character. So she is, in fact, an actress, and she was available at the time. She could have played Lara Croft either in that movie or in a future movie. I never understood why they didn't pick her. So now they've cast Sophie Turner, who is, of course, pretty much known for just being in the last couple X-Men films and not exactly the most liked character and actress in those movies. But I'm not saying she's a bad actress, but again, she's another one of those ones where you look at her and you go, this isn't Lara Croft. What are you guys doing? And not only that, but the script and the way it's all played out, you see the first reboot film, and it's just not that great. I have little hope at this point that they're ever going to get Tomb Raider right, and I don't think they're even trying to. Recently, it's been a thought on my mind that sometimes we need to slow our days down a little bit, in particular days off. My typical work, I work as a server, and it's very, very fast paced. Go, 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 nonstop. You're managing 8 to 10 different tasks in your mind where you're supposed to be 3-4 moves ahead, and I gotta check on this person, I gotta check on that person, I've got this in my hand for this table, this in my hand for this table, and I still gotta greet that table and get their order in, and they need food ran, and blah 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 blah. Like, you're just go 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 like that. And so when I get my time off, I have multiple days off in a row because I work multiple days in a row, and then I have multiple days off. Like, for me, that's the kind of work-life balance. I go in and I blitz the weekend for work, and then I take the time off. And however, I find that on my days off, even, it's not to say a fast pace, like go like different locations all the time, but I don't really just take the time to just sit and like read a book or build something with Lego or something like that. The other night, I actually brought home several packs of Pokemon cards after work, and it was actually really nice to sit there and just open the cards, look at each thing, and just kind of enjoy that moment. But it only lasted about 15 minutes. And I have books. I have some really cool novels, and I have a lot of Lego. I'm really into Lego. I'm sure there's pictures somewhere on my Instagram, but I have like tubs and drawers, the little Sterilite drawers and stuff everywhere on my desk with sorted Lego. And then I actually have multiple Lego sets. I have a Imperial shuttle or something like that from Star Wars that I've had out of the box, still in the like piece bags, but like out of the box and sitting on the shelf for like 2 or 3 years now. And then I recently, but this was like 3-4 months ago, bought one of the like Speed Champions, like the cars. I think it's a Lotus, and I was like super excited to build that. And it just sits there because when I come home, I like to play video games. This is why I don't watch like TV shows or movies at home, but I like to play video games, and there's always like something I want to do in a game. And right now, obviously, I've been playing a lot of First Descendant, but I just started Genshin Impact. But I've also got a backlog of games that I want to beat. Borderlands 3, for instance, I need to finish because 4 is coming out next year. But like gaming is like my primary hobby. And then, of course, I like to watch football and sports, but that's something that can happen while doing other things. And I mean, I don't know, it just feels really difficult once you fall into this kind of routine of like, I go to work, I get that done and out of the way, I come home and yes, I get to turn on my Xbox. And even gaming, like I recently hooked up my Sega Genesis, and there was this crazy satisfaction from just playing an old school game that's like disconnected, and it's like self-contained, and you're just doing that activity right there in that moment. And I think that a lot of us need to start finding, this is not like a self-help session or something, but a lot of us need to start finding those little moments where we step away from all the connected stuff. Like, I love these games, but then I feel this like obligation to get online and play that game and accomplish certain tasks or whatever, versus maybe I just fire up the Game Boy and play a random old game I have, or Pokemon or something on my Game Boy, and just like be there in that moment. I could still have like football on the TV or a YouTube video playing or something. Same thing with Lego. Like, I could sit and like unpack a Lego set and actually build it, or just mess around with sorting some Lego and building something out of it. But I don't know, I feel like just something for myself, but I think a lot of people in general, like, we need to start finding these tasks or activities that are unrelated to something connected and online and the latest, and all that kind of thing. So I don't know, I'm going to try to. I really would like to read a book. I have a sci-fi series that's actually really good. I should probably do not a review, but like maybe if I read it, I could actually talk about that, things like that. So anyways, that was just like kind of a final thought for this week is occasionally when you get those days off, when you get that time off, if you really want to actually unwind and feel some relief from everything else that's going on in the world, maybe just disconnect a little bit and do things that don't require internet access.